Hello, Soma. I'm so glad you guys are here. Thank you for coming, replay people. Um, wow, I got a little flustered. It wouldn't let me start the broadcast. So anyway, thank you so much for coming on in. And live people, thank you so much. Diego, Pat, Marcel, thank you so much for coming in. Hey, Jeremy. And the other Jeremy. Or am I the other Jeremy? I don't know. What's up, James? Cheap startup, party time. Oh yeah, we're talking about books. Party time. So anyway, I'm Jeremy Franson. I'm the co-host of the #1 internet business podcast in iTunes since 2005 called Internet Business Mastery. And inside of our Facebook group for customers, I got asked several times to show how in the heck I'm reading 3 to 5 books every single week. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. Hello, Madan, what's up? Wax Read. Love IBM, thank you. Yes, haircut. Trying all sorts of stuff. Hey, Kevin, Freedom Lovin'. Great podcast, check it out, freedomlovin.com. Did you get a haircut? Yes, I did. Nikki, what's up? There it is. Woo, it's a little tight. What do you think? Tim, what's up? Hey, Chris, thank you guys so much for coming in. And you look different, really. In what way do I look different? With the Periscope Photoshop. What's up? All right, so today I'm actually going to kind of talk through the exact steps that I go through to be able to read so many books. Thanks for the plug. Oh yeah, hard it up. That's awesome. Like the hair, thanks. Trying a bunch of different things. And this is just the next. I went to an actual barber. Like an old school barber. He had a tie and the whole thing. It was pretty cool. All right, Wax Read, what's up? So anyway, gosh, I guess about July 15th, I started rebuilding my library, as you can see behind me. What happened is, a couple of years ago, I got really into the minimalist stuff. And I even downgraded my house, bought a new house, a little bit smaller house, a couple bedrooms less, 1,000 square feet less and stuff. And one of the things that ended up going was almost all of my books. I had about 5 bookshelves just packed with books, gave most of it away, and ended up with maybe a half a bookshelf. So I decided I was going to recreate my library. And what I had done was I'd gotten all my favorite books, I got them on Kindle. And just got a wild hair and decided to rebuild my actual physical library. Dude. Yeah. But anyway, so since then, I don't know, I think I'm up to about 75 books I bought in the last month or so, and I'm just packing these shelves. Even got my little skull here. Ethan, what's up? What's up? Of course, Ethan's here. Now we can start. Ethan's here. All right. So anyway, so I've been buying all these books on my Facebook feed and my Instagram. I show every time I get a shipment from Amazon, and I don't know, I have 10, 20 books come each time, and I've been just showing what I've been doing to rebuild this library. So I was going to tell you exactly how I'm doing this, because people were asking me, am I speed reading? No, I'm actually not speed reading. I'm doing something I would call smart reading. And so here's what I do. Let's see. So I'll give this as an example. This was a book I read last month. And one of the main things that I do is I try and buy hardback or hardcover, I guess. And what I do, though, is I buy used books, mostly. So in Amazon, you can go in and buy them used. And then I can end up getting them for a lot cheaper, and I get the nice big thick hardcover that will look better on my shelves back there. I love the hardback books. But anyway, this was one that I bought before I started buying the hardcover, and I'll just give you an example. This is one of the ones that went all the way. Like, I have several different ways I read books, and it depends on how good the book is. So we'll start with this. One of the things I do is I read the front cover. If there's any sort of testimonials or any of that kind of stuff, I'll read all the testimonials. And one of the reasons I'm doing that is I want to start getting a sense of who's saying this book is awesome and why they're saying it's awesome. and then I'll read the front and back cover, or I'm sorry, the front and back in here, all about the book. Usually this will give me the real rundown of what the book's about and get my mind starting to work about what it is I'm actually going to get from the book. I also like to read who the person is, like in this case, this is a investigative reporter from the New York Times. He's won all these awards and everybody and their dog says this book is awesome. So that's an awesome start for me. And then I can know where the person's coming from. Is this just something they're coming up with themselves? Is it based on science? I really, really like the people that have like studied something for 40 years and then they write their book on all of their findings. Those are actually my favorite. But anyway, so that's how I start. Then I go in and I read the table of contents. And I read them really detailed, make sure I know every single thing that's in there. Then I read the introduction, and then I read... So those I read the whole entire thing. I'll read the entire introduction and it depends on what they call it. Let me tell you what this one called it. In this particular book, in the Power of Habits, they had an appendix and a reader's guide to using these ideas. Now here's what is so awesome. Most books, you find out most of what the book's about in the freaking introduction and in whatever the last chapter is or in the appendix. Lots of books will have the, like, how to use these ideas and what to do now with all this information. And during that last piece, a lot of times they will literally summarize the entire book. And so that's literally my first pass. And I'll show you what ends up happening. I go through, and this is how I mark it up. I'll dog-ear the pages that I absolutely love, and then I actually circle instead of highlight, and I'll circle what I found important. And sometimes I'll do these little pictures and graphs and stuff like that. So that's my first pass. Now, what I've found, so let's see, this month so far I've read 10 books. Almost done with the 11th, and I'll probably get yet another one, so I'll have 12 this month. Last month I think I had 8, but I started 2 weeks in. That's when I finally started it. And what happens is, so I have maybe 3 different passes. We'll see as I'm saying it if it was 3. So first pass is what I just told you. That is a first pass of the book. Now when I start the book, when I start reading the cover, the back cover, and this kind of stuff, I try and get it in my head, what is it I actually want from this book? Because one of the things that I've realized from all these years of reading so many books is that a lot of times, if a book is really good, it's got maybe 3 to 5 main ideas. And if I can even get one of those ideas actually implemented into my life, the book was absolutely worth it for me. But what I want to find out is, I want to find out with my first pass if it's worth, did I get the main idea? Is it even worth going to my second pass? So that's what I want to try and do, is find that out. Now, last month, let's see, out of the 8 books I read, 2 of them I could have chucked. They were horrible. I didn't even get past my first pass. If it's a real, hey Rob, what's up? Thanks, haircut. If it's a really horrible book, I've considered just chucking it. Right now, I've kept it on my shelf in its own spot. The maybe 3 or 4 books I've read that are terrible. I never plan on going back to them or anything. Josh says I've read 0 books since high school. Yeah, how many books have you guys read in, let's say, just this year? Just even if it's just an estimate. The Duns Quarter. Do you have a list? I do, and actually. Good, I'll tell you right now. Okay, so 6. Jason says 6. Chris says 2. I've read about 12. Awesome. Kirby, 25. Awesome. Tim, 10. We got 6, 17, 12, 15. Probably well over 25. Yeah, that's about where I'm at. I've probably read 3 or 4, says Ethan. Malika says 8. Awesome. Well, other than one person that says 0, and Reed says 2 because I have a toddler, I completely understand that. 6 to 7, says Jeremy. Here, I'll show you. I already rubbed it off. Here's where I've got my list right now. Now I'm actually having it put on my site. So it's goodread.com/Jeremy Franson. You can follow me. You can see what I'm reading at any given time, what I've rated the books I have read recently. And so there you go. There's that. I try to do one. Okay. Anyway, so that's my first pass. Now, if it's really, really good, I go into my second pass. And that's where I go back to the table of contents. And again, I'm looking for, usually, again, I found in the final chapter some sort of summary. But if it's really good, I usually go, oh my gosh, I want to dig deeper into this particular subject. So I go back to the table of contents, and I look through the table of contents for that particular chapter that might dig deeper into that subject. So let me show you one maybe that I did. Now this book particularly is really good, The Power of Habits. So I have just, you can see here maybe 3 or 4 chapters in the beginning and then several chapters in the back where I dug really, really super deep. And then if while I'm digging deep, if I'm like, this book is awesome, I need these notes, I need to be able to refer to these notes, and I need to implement something in the book, then I move to the next phase. And the next phase, and I did this with maybe 4 books so far in the last just over a month. I've gone really, really super deep. And this is what I do next. I get the book again on iBook. All right, California, hey Lori. So I get the book on iBook, and I actually, so now I have it 2 places. I have it on iBook, and then I have the physical copy, and then I go through. And I still do this myself. I've heard of other people that do something similar, and they have their VAs do it. So far, I'm still doing it because when I'm doing what I'm going to tell you next, I'm learning it yet again. But what I do is I will open up a page, find the page in iBooks, and I'll find my notes. So you can see I started highlighting some stuff down here, and I will put those into iBook. Now the reason I use iBook instead of Kindle is because iBook, you can actually email yourself the notes, which is really, really awesome, because then I move to the next step, which is I take those notes from my email and I put it into Evernote. So I was going to show you Evernote. Let's see if we can do this. All right. Get this to work. So you can see here, I put all the notes into Evernote. Then everything is actually searchable, which is really, really awesome. I'll even take pictures if it's something I really want to know. I'll take a screenshot of the picture from iBook, and then I put it into Evernote with it. So this one, again, not all my books are this detailed, but to me this book was that good, is that it was worth putting it into Evernote like this. Then this way I can actually search it anytime I want from my iPhone or from wherever. All right, and that's the, let's say, second way. Now, obviously, if it's this good of a book, usually what that means is I need to implement something. Because, again, just reading the book, I mean, I like to have knowledge, sometimes for knowledge's sake, but I really want to be able to take action. And usually if a book gets to the point where I have it in Evernote and iBook, and I've got 2 copies, one in iBook and one physical, there's going to be stuff in there to implement. Yeah, tons of knowledge being absorbed. Yeah, absolutely. So just as an example, here it is. In the one thing, one of the things it said was, it gave an example of how to prioritize your day. So I got my notepad I've got 2. I've got a could and a should notebook, which is what the book said to do. And then I actually printed out and taped to the back what I should do every single morning when I'm deciding what the one main thing is that I need to do. So for instance, on the should notebook, it says, what's the one thing right now? And one of the big things in that book is, what's the one thing right now that if I do that thing, it will make everything better. It'll be the main thing in your life. So that's what I do with this. So I just wanted to show everybody, because I have so many people going, how the heck are you reading this? And are you really even doing anything with the information? And like somebody said, are you just getting all these books because it's cool to you? And really, yeah, it is. This is totally cool to me, for sure. It's that. But I want to make it actually become something that I do. Somebody said something about taking action. If you want to type that in again, I'll look at it. But anyway, so that third way I do it is the implementation way. And then if it's a book that I think, let's see, does this move you to action? Yeah, and obviously, if it's that good, like I said, I do anything I can to move that into action. I'll even schedule stuff in my calendar as reminders, or whatever I can do to make that into something I implement is amazing. How do you not burn out with so many actions to implement? Believe it or not, even out of those 10 books I talked about that I've read so far this month, maybe 2 were really worth going this whole distance. And so far, that's what it's been. Last month there was 3 that I went really, really far with. And Ethan's saying, I'm gathering my own collection of books for the personal library. Had one growing up, love books. Yeah, that's awesome. I absolutely am completely passionate about it. And I realized I was listening to so many audiobooks. I was at least doing a couple audiobooks a week. And but I realized my retention was so much lower, and I was having trouble actually implementing it. So somebody asked, how has it impacted my life? I mean, so far I've got, oh my gosh, again, maybe 4 or 5 books that I've really super gone in detail, and one of them happened to be a book on influence. And so in my business, when it was time to do a launch that we're doing right now, I was able to go, okay, I've got that influence book. I want to make sure that the 6 steps that were in that influence book get implemented into this launch. I don't want to forget it. So I had that out. I printed it. I actually sent it to our person that was completely in charge of that. She's on here right now, Nikki. She's completely designing and copywriting and doing all that. But I wanted to make sure that anytime I'm looking at anything in that, I can look at my list from that book. And it's called Influence by Robert Cialdini, which a lot of people hear about and talk about in the business and copywriting world. But I wanted to finally, I've had that book on my shelf for 4 years and never even looked at it. And now I have it all written out. Let's see. What's your typical favorite genre? Business, success, influence? Right now, I'm trying to be a little more of a Renaissance man, a concept that I learned just recently, and I'm trying to read a bunch of different stuff. So here's how I kind of do it. I read 3 times a day for at least 15 minutes, usually just 15 minutes. So I can do my first pass on a book in 15 minutes at least, usually. And again, I don't speed read. I'm probably a little bit quicker than normal in my reading, but I'm able to do it really fast because of this smart way. Now in the morning, usually I read more of a classical book. I've been getting all of these, like, maybe it could be classical business. It could be, like, I read a Warren Buffett book just recently, a finance book, an older one that was really, really a big deal I found on some financial list. And then usually lunch I do, where'd you learn this smart reading? I don't remember exactly. I'll tell you, I'm going to show you at the end, I'm going to show you somebody who does he's got an insane way that he reads, but he didn't talk about smart reading. I'm not sure actually now. I had 15 minutes a day reading habit. Yeah, that's awesome. Leonardo da France. Yeah, the Renaissance thing is a whole other topic I could talk about as well. But anyways, so at lunch, just after lunch, that's when I do my second 15-minute reading. That's usually when I do how-to books. So right now I happen to be going through this book right here, which is going to get the major treatment. I don't know if you can see this. I've done so much marking up of this book. I mean, this is perfect if you're doing an internet business the way we teach it at internetbusinessmastery.com. This book is an absolute must. We're going to put it somewhere in our training to get this book. We might even start sending it to coaching students. It's that important. But anyway, so I've been reading this. So because I'm going so in detailed on this, I'm 45 minutes into this book. Like, this is going to be a massive, I'm not quite done yet. But you can see I did the introduction, I've got the final stuff, I don't know if you can see it, at the end, and now I'm going all the way through it. Talk Money says, just started that book. Yes. Why wouldn't you use a digital library? I do have a digital library. I like this 10 times better. I love being able to do my marking this way. I did the digital library for about 2 years, and it's just not the same for me. It's just a personal preference. Yeah. Henry, let's see, what's his name? Todd Henry. That's the name. Yeah, this book is so awesome. But anyway, so that's what I do in the second 15 minutes. And the third 15 minutes, I have whatever book I'm really hung up on. I really just wanted to read, even if it's not already on these other lists. This one right now is I'm actually reading it at lunch and at my nighttime 15 minutes because it's so good. And then you can see on that Goodreads right here, you can see the other book I'm reading. And now what I do, usually at night I would read biographies, and now I'm listening to the biographies because going through the biographies was a lot slower going. And the main reason I'm listening to biographies is to listen to people having massive courage, like the courage to do absolutely crazy things. That's the big thing I get from the biography genre. But anyway, so that's how I do it. Mornings, more of a classical, older book, big knowledge from classical readers. I even got Plato just recently. I'm going to go through that. And again, I've got a lot of these books listed on that Goodreads. And then lunch is the how-to. That's where I read a lot of business. Got to jump, great scope. All right, Jacqueline. Gonna go read now. Yeah, me too, actually. After Jason, my business partner's coming on probably here in about a half hour, and after that I'm gonna go read. How much do you spend reading a day? It's 45 minutes is the absolute minimum. 15 minutes morning, after breakfast, 15 minutes after lunch, and then right before bed I'll do another 15 minutes. But then some days I go crazy. Again, today I've already done about 45 minutes on this book. Because I'm flying through it so much. It's just, I've noticed that two things I do much, much less now that I got into this habit. I don't watch shows as much. I have like 2 shows that I watch now. I don't watch movies all that much anymore. And I used to play a bit of video game, a lot of video gaming, and I don't do any of that anymore because I just got so many other things. There's just so much to learn. I just got crazy again. What shows? The show that I absolutely love right now, let's see, what's it called? Mr. Robot. Top show. And the other one I watch for fun is Suits. I think it's still going. Mr. Robot just ended, but that was an amazing show. Absolutely worth it. Since I started Periscope, I don't watch much, if any, TV. Yeah, Ethan, me too. I've been on Periscope now a week and a half, and I'm so obsessed by it. Between the reading and the Periscope stuff, I have no other time. Love Suits. Suits rocks. Yeah, Suits is an absolutely great show. Love it. Mr. Robot actually took my top spot right now of things I'm willing to watch. But I used to have a lot of other shows and different things that I was watching. But Ethan's saying, I'm interacting and learning. Yeah, that's what's so awesome about these scopes. You can get on and, basically the things that you can learn on Periscope right now are how to do Periscope, everyone and their dog's talking about that. And then here and there, a smattering of other really cool stuff and business stuff. Or you can watch people at concerts and stuff. I don't know, whatever else. But I absolutely love doing it this way. So anyway, what's the favorite book that you've read in the last year? So far, I've shown you some of mine. Here's one of mine. I'm not done yet, but that's totally going on the list. This one, absolutely awesome. Kingsley says, great scope, Jeremy. Thanks, gotta go. Put the book in the community. Yep. Let's see, since when? Okay, I didn't get to see that. I'm all about the business. All right, launched by Jeff Walker. Yep, that's awesome. We actually just interviewed Jeff Walker. That's going to be coming out soon on the Internet Business Mastery podcast. 80/20 Marketing, yes. That was a book that I read last year that became a favorite. We give that to coaching students usually. First time seeing you on Periscope, love it. Thanks. Yeah, I'm going to be talking more about this kind of stuff. A little bit of business, mostly anything to do with epic life, having an epic life. That's my big thing. 48 Laws of Power. Actually, I just read that recently. Contagious by Jonah. Let's see. $100 Startup is great. Yeah, I haven't read that one yet, but I've heard a lot of people really like that. What other books? Oh, Grit, How to Keep Going When You Want to Give Up. Actually, Grit is on my list. Hey, can you put that in the Facebook group? I want to make sure to get that. Got to do my duty on Duckerscope. Oh yeah, did he just start? Did he just start? Now he's going to take half my people. Oh, Chris. Actually, Chris showed just recently how to be able to record these with all of the messages and stuff. So that's awesome. The new Anthony Robbins Money book. Yeah, where is that? I think it's right here. I really liked that book. I listened to it, and now I bought it because I want to put some of that into action. Thanks, Ethan. See you later if you're going to go over there. Any other awesome books? What else? Just started. Just jump over there. See you. All right, see you guys. I'm reading The Moon is a Harsh Mistress. You would love it. Oh, really? Why? What is it about generally? How do you read so many? That's what the whole scope was about. I just finished that entire thing. Definitely check out the replay. The War of Art. I read that last year. Absolutely awesome. Cold Hard Truth by Kevin O'Leary. Haven't read that one. That sounds very interesting. Power of Habit was good. The 12 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. E-Myth. Yeah, E-Myth. Gosh, I read that like 10 years ago. Awesome. Thanks from Sydney. All right, thanks. It's a future society on the moon that's libertarian. That sounds right up my alley. Summarize your scope. Okay, I'll do a quick one. So reading, the key is smart reading rather than speed reading. And you want to start your reading with the idea of what is it specifically I want from this book. I start very quickly. Front cover, back cover, inner sleeves, table of contents, and then I read the first chapter and whatever the last chapter is. Usually it's a summary. Then, if the book is good enough, sometimes I'll get my one thing. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. That's all I need. Sometimes I get super sparked, and then I go through the table of contents and I do my second pass. I go through the table of contents and I'll read the chapters that I'm absolutely interested in. Usually, here's something I didn't mention earlier, usually I actually skip the stories. I'm scanning and looking for the main points because, that's the other thing that I learned from a guy that reads a lot. I think his name's Ty Lopez. I forgot about him for a minute there. But anyway, he talked about how, it's like 90% of books are just stories because really if they put all the main points together, it would be 10 pages and no publisher will publish that. So, they have to fill it up with stories. So a lot of times I'm going to totally scan through and find the gold nuggets. Then I circle those. And then if it's even better than that, I go to iBook, take all my notes from the physical, put it in the iBook. Then the iBook, I email my notes to myself and put it into Evernote. And then if it's even so important for me to implement, then I go ahead and I put it as a task for me to implement at least one thing from the book right then. And there you go. Rick, hey, what's up? So yeah, if you found that useful, definitely heart it up. And by the way, if you click the little guy and the number, you can follow me. If you're not already following me, I'm going to be doing tips all about Epic Life and some business stuff. Again, I do a podcast called Internet Business Mastery. We've been #1 in internet business since 2005, so 10 years. So definitely check that out as well. Any other questions about the reading? Thank you so much for all the hearts. Any other questions or any other books you want to let everybody know about? I got one that I'm going to get that Madan said about grit. Love that because I'm learning all about the habit stuff, learned all about willpower, and the other thing was grit. So, oh yeah, I was going to show you one more thing. Let me look for it here. Essentialism. I haven't read it. I have it in my, what's it called? Audible, my Audible account. I downloaded it because Jason said, I have tried some speed reading, iBook or Kindle. The speed reading, I'm far better with the smart reading. I just can't get my comprehension up with the speed reading. iBook or Kindle, I'm doing iBook simply because I have a whole bunch of Kindle, but I couldn't take my notes and like email it to myself. So that's why I do iBook, is simply because I want to be able to get all my notes emailed to myself so that I can get them into Evernote where they can be cataloged, you know, like I can type in some of the words that I remember and boom, I can find the exact quote or note or whatever from the book. So that's why I do iBook. Sorry, a bunch of questions went by. Yeah, I wanted to know that. I know how to get notes on Evernote from Kindle. Oh, really? Let us know, definitely. Millionaire Mind, yeah, I read that quite a few years ago. And actually, I think that's on its way again. I rebought that one. Yeah, I didn't know. God, I did a ton of searching too, and everything that I saw to try and get stuff off of Kindle was like a 40-step process, and it was too irritating for me. Books versus internet business articles. Ooh, man, I am definitely, my consumption of blogs went down to almost zero. It's pretty small. Gosh, I read just a couple. The only one that's coming to mind right now is James Clear. But I love his stuff because he talks a lot about the habits, and I'm just like obsessed with that right now. Oh, it may be 7 Steps, right. What's the book by Hill about the devil? Oh, I don't know that. Oh my gosh, sun's coming in on me. Sorry about that, guys. I love doing it at night, I mean, because then you get all these more people, but unfortunately the sun is right on me. So I got to do the blinds. But let's see. So I summarized. Oh, yeah, I was going to tell you about a YouTube video to go check out to see somebody who puts my my book reading to absolute shame. And it's called A Peek into My Reading Process. Okay, if somebody could type that in, by Rich Sheffrin. Watch this guy. Rich Sheffrin is one of the few actually big internet marketing guys that I really, really look up to. He loves this reading stuff. If I could get to the point where I do what he does, it's amazing. Watch that video. Again, it's called A Peek into My Reading Process by Rich Sheffrin. And you'll be able to check him out. His library is so massive, I can't even believe it. When do you read, morning or night? I read right after breakfast for 15 minutes, right after lunch for 15 minutes, and before bed for at least 15 minutes. Yeah, A Peek into My Reading Process by Rich Sheffrin. Hill's book is Outwitting the Devil. I haven't read that one. What's it about, generally? Sounds very, very interesting. And by the way, again, if you're new, if you tap the little guy down here and the number right now, it's 46. If you tap that, you'll see my name, and right next to it, you can follow me. I'm going to be talking all about Epic Life in general, as well as some business. There you go. Any other questions before I leave? Let's see, what else can I show you? Trying to think of freedom and success. Yeah, those I absolutely love books like that. I'm going to really quickly bring up my Goodreads. Oh, I'm reading a book right now that I'm really liking. So right now I've got 4 books I'm currently reading. One's called Switch: How to Change Things When Change is Hard, because I'm all about habits, all about learning everything I can about habits. I did a scope just a little while ago about, gosh, I think it was my first scope a week ago, just over a week ago. I did it about how hard it is to actually make goals happen. Oh gosh, sorry, I it faded out before I could see. Type it again, and I'll stop and read what you asked. So anyway, there was Switch. The next one is Curious: the desire to know and why your future depends on it. Yeah, this is absolutely awesome. I think curiosity is one of 3 major things I need in a friend or people that I hang out with. So I'm reading even more about it. I'm also I'm listening to the Everything Store, which is the Jeff Bezos and the Age of Amazon. That's really really interesting. Hearing all about how Amazon started and how crazy this guy is. How do you not get fired up when you're reading before bed? I have that problem, yeah, as far as going to sleep. I'm starting to be very careful with what I'm reading before bed. I'm trying not to read the stuff that makes me like so wired I have to get up and do stuff. I did actually do that. I was reading The Happiness Hypothesis last month, and there was so much in there I had to get up and start taking action, and I was up till maybe 2 in the morning. And to me, I go to bed between 10 and 11, get up around 5 or 6. So being up till 1 or 2 was crazy, but I had to get up and just write all this stuff down. It was such a good book. That was one of the 3 that was awesome. And then the other book that I'm reading right now, again, Switch, Curious, The Everything Store, and boom, Louder Than Words. Completely awesome. It's so hard to listen to this while driving. Yeah, be safe. Oh, watch the road. I'd love to hear your top 3 books and goals and habits. Oh, wow. Yeah, right now, okay, I'm gonna do a lot more about habits, because that is absolutely, other than Periscope, the habit forming is what I'm absolutely passionate about, very, very into. Again, what I was saying before about my first scope a week ago was I was talking about how I have all my goals for the last 10 years. And I was looking at them, and I realized I had about 10% success rate with my goals. Now, it ended up being big things like I was able to have a multi-million-dollar business from scratch. I didn't know what I was doing when I first started. You know, I've been able to speak all over the world. I've been able to do a lot of really cool things that I wanted, but that was only 10% of what I had actually written down for my goals. And so, you know, a couple of months ago, I've read I guess it's now 15 books on habits, because I realized that the reason I was having problems with goals is because I wasn't creating habits to actually make the goals happen. Do you have a Periscope schedule? I don't yet. I'm going to. I'm going to probably start scoping at night at 7. And I'm trying, I'm actually trying to do these as kind of like bite-sized content, like maybe a 15-minute scope. Like it's been about 45 minutes so far, but we'll see. I'm trying to do that. I might do it in the morning too. Maybe my morning ones will be a little bit quicker. It'll be just about what I'm working on in the Epic Life stuff in the morning, just really quick. Time zone, 7 p.m. Mountain is where I am. About how many new goals do you set each year? I've actually scaled way down. I used to have like 150 goals at any point, and now I generally have about 10. And even 5 that I would consider active goals. And just for the fun of it, I'll tell you right now I have a main keystone goal. It's basically a goal that if you get that one goal, if you accomplish that goal, it will have a huge effect in your entire life. And that right now is what I'm working on most. But again, since people have said that they like the goal stuff, I'll probably do more goal stuff in the morning. But one way to be able to find out, you know, all of my replays and stuff is to follow me on Twitter at jeremyfranson.com. Here's the spelling of that. Let's see. Try and make it so you can see it. Jeremy Franson. at Jeremy Franson. That's the Twitter. You'll see all my replay stuff for the goals. Somebody just wrote something. Today I just read about Keystone Habits. Did you read about that? I think it was in here. At 14 books now, I'm like, I can't remember which book is which. But anyway, so yeah, sorry I didn't get that last question. Anyway, I guess I'll let you guys go unless I see a message on the way out. Again, if you'd like to follow me, that would be awesome. I'm absolutely passionate about this epic life stuff, being able to read, being able to take life to the next level. That's what I'm going to be talking about. Of all these books you read about habits, what are the must-reads? Okay, so far, this is the best. This was from, I believe it was Stanford researchers, Harvard Business School and Yale. He talks about MIT and I believe Stanford research on the habit stuff, which is, this was the best of the best. And then another one, gosh, it's all the way over there, is Willpower. And the book is just called Willpower, and actually I could probably find it really quick here. That book was awesome about, MIT, that's what it was. Let's see, Willpower. Good book, yes. Willpower by Roy Baumeister and John Tierney. Willpower, Rediscovering the Greatest Human Strength. Those two books are absolute must-reads in terms of the habit stuff. I'm developing an entire habit system for myself that I'm going to test, I don't know, for a couple of months, maybe even 6 months, and then I might even come out with some sort of course about it. Again, out of all the 14 books, or 15 now books that I've read about habits, that's the best one. Another one that was pretty good was Willpower Instinct. I've got that listed right here. But anyway, so those are the best ones about habits. So there you go. I guess I'm going to take off, guys. It's about time for my business partner. I think he's going to be talking about influence tonight. He's going to start in probably about 10 minutes or so. Thank you so much for the hearts. This is awesome. I really, really appreciate it. The hearts basically let me know that you found value, and also they help me possibly kick my business partner's butt in hearts. So thanks so much with that, and I will probably talk to you in the morning or at least tomorrow night. Thank you so much, guys. Again, I'm Jeremy Franson, and I will talk to you later.